Part 39. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuan-Chi. Chapter 382. The fastest update to the latest chapter of Marvel's Mechanical Hunter Across the Heavens. There was a sound of applause in the distance, and a voice came from afar. It's very good that a peak senior warrior and a junior general can work together to kill a high-level beast general level monster, you guys. Really good. I think your talents are pretty good, how about it? Are you interested in joining our Bolanas family? Our family will provide you with resources that you can't even imagine and help you quickly improve your strength. Hearing this, Yejuju frowned, feeling extremely unhappy and said in his heart. Still want to meet you? Are they going to face each other after all? Is this a fateful arrangement? Hearing that the person claiming to be the Bolinas family, Yejuju knew who was coming. Turning around, I saw the junior god of war walking in front, followed by Li Wei and 4 senior generals. However, Yejuju was a little surprised. These people did not snatch the prey from the 2 of them as soon as they met like in the play, but instead used words to recruit the 2 of them. When he saw Li Wei behind Li Zhan again, Yejuju knew that he had thought too much. As the saying goes, dogs can't change from eating shit. Looking at the obvious disdain in Li Wei's eyes, you know that if this god of war hadn't been there, Li Wei would have snatched it away. Maybe Li Wei doesn't like the things on high-level beast generals. After all, even the materials for high-level beast generals monsters only sell for tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but he just enjoys bullying people. How could he feel comfortable if he didn't show his superiority? What's more, 2 young men about the same age as him killed a high-level beast-level monster, which made him feel even more uncomfortable. Why are you all about the same age, so why can you work together to kill a high-level beast-level monster, but I can't? Since I'm not feeling well, you can't get the materials from the monster either. What now? This is typical. If you can't do it yourself, you shouldn't allow people like you to be more perverted than you are. Anyway. After he saw the 2 of them working together to kill the 2-headed black snake in the distance, he looked down upon Yejuju and the others. If Li Zhan hadn't seen the potential of the 2 of them and wanted to recruit talents for the family, he would have brought 4 people from the Thunder team to snatch and humiliate Yejuju and the 2. Not to mention that Li Wei looked down on the 2 of them from Li Wei's eyes, Yejuju would naturally not agree to Li Zhan's invitation. What's more, he, Yejuju, is a cheater after all. How could he join someone else's family and be controlled by someone else? But he couldn't offend Li Zhan completely yet. After all, he was a god of war, so he still had to give him some face, so he politely refused. Hello, Your Majesty the God of War. Of course I know about the Bolinas family. For warriors, being able to join is naturally a dream. Li Zhan was naturally happy when he heard what Yejuju said. He thought that Yejuju would agree to join his family the next moment. Hearing Yejuju's words, Luo Feng beside him suddenly became anxious. He would not join any family. How could he stand up and talk to a big family if he became a lackey? Why are you still with Su Xian? Just when he was about to speak, he heard Yejuju change the subject and continue. But Luo Feng and I had already joined the Extreme Martial Arts Gym and signed a contract with the Martial Arts Gym a few months ago, so. Sorry, Senior. The 2 of us cannot join the Bolanas family. What? Exclamations sounded out, but it was Li Wei and Lu Lao who were behind Li Zhan. They heard Yejuju's exclamations after rejecting the family's solicitation. Seeing their family's solicitation, Yejuju and the other 2 people clearly refused, and suddenly lost their temper. Li Wei asked sternly. What are you? So disrespectful. What is my Bolinas family? The top forces in the alliance recruit you 2 ignorant boys because they think highly of you. You refused without mercy. Snored. That being the case. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. He originally wanted to snatch the prey from the two of them, but now he made no secret of it. He stepped forward past Li Jian, pointed at the body of the two-headed black snake on the ground and said, "Snort. I want this two-headed black line snake, young master. You can get out." Obviously, he was looking for trouble. He didn't even bother to find an excuse. He obviously wanted to make Yejuju and the others angry and resist, so that he could teach them a lesson. Li Jian saw Li Wei coming forward, but he didn't stop him. He just wanted to see how the two of them would respond. If the two were young and energetic and resisted, it would be just right for Mr. Lu and others to teach them a lesson. When the two of them had been taught a lesson, he would step in to stop them and show kindness to them so that he could recruit them. When Luo Feng heard this, anger burst out from his chest. When he was about to step forward to confront Li Wei, Yejuju reached out and grabbed him. After looking at Yejuju's eyes telling him not to mess around, Luo Feng snorted unwillingly and said nothing. But Yejuju took a step forward without even looking at Li Wei, looked at Li Jian and said, "Senior, is this how the Bolaños family does things? Are you not afraid of being laughed at if you steal other people's prey?" He. So. I just want a word from you, senior. As long as you say, this two-headed black snake. Your family wants it. I and my brother will give you the two-headed black snake, how about it? This is not pleasant to hear, and Li Jian's face turned black immediately, and he was so angry that he wanted to teach Yejuju and the others a lesson. If there were no other warrior teams in the distance, paying attention to this place and whispering. If he was constrained by the alliance regulations that warriors could not easily attack each other, he would have taught Yejuju and the others a lesson. But he didn't know that Yejuju did this on purpose. Since Li Wei came forward to threaten the two of them, Li Jian did not stop him, but chose to watch the show. Then, Yejuju would not give face to the Bolaños family. Anyway, Luo is destined to, if Feng wants to make enemies with the Bolaños family, then just offend them directly. With other warrior teams around, I believe Li Jian would not dare to act blatantly. And Li Wei did not shamelessly make excuses, saying that the two-headed black snake was the prey they found first, so Yejuju would naturally not hand over the prey to others like in the play. Sure enough. The angry Li Jian stood there and took a few deep breaths, clenched his fists behind his back, and finally chose not to act at this time. Instead, he stared at Yejuju with cold eyes, snorted heavily and said, "Humph. Don't know how to behave. I hope you are here, be careful and don't die in the mouth of the monster. Let's go." After saying that, Li Jian didn't want to stay here for a moment, so he turned around and left. Li Wei also looked at Yejuju and the others with a distorted face. Obviously, he didn't expect Yejuju and the others to be so disrespectful to the family. When he was about to give the order to teach them a lesson, he was pulled by Karen and turned around to follow Li Jian. Provide you with the fastest update of the great gods crossing the heavens, Marvel Mechanical Hunter. In order to check the fastest update of this book next time, please be sure to save the bookmark. 409 Enemy with the Bolaños family free reading // Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanqi. Chapter 383. Yejuju, who has excellent hearing, even heard Li Wei's babble. "Why are you leaving? Are you going to let that kid humiliate our Bolaños family with words and not teach them a lesson?" "Don't worry, master. Senior Li has his own plan. Besides, this is not the time to teach those two people a lesson. As long as they are in the city No. 003, there is always a chance that their lives will be worse than death." Yejuju couldn't hear the rest of the words clearly because of the distance. But he could guess that the two of them were hated by these people, and they would definitely teach them a lesson or even kill them if they had the opportunity. But Yejuju is not afraid. Not to mention those high-level generals, how could they be their opponents when they were completely at full strength? Even if the junior god of war takes action, it's not certain who will win based on his abilities and tricks. Worst case scenario, if you can't defeat him, you can still escape. As for Luo Feng, he wasn't worried either. He has the mental power to defend himself, so if he can't defeat the escaping gun, there will be no problem. Seeing several people leaving, Yejuju greeted the proud Luo Feng to quickly collect materials from the monster. Seeing Yejuju immersed in collecting materials, Luo Feng glanced at Yejuju in surprise and couldn't help but ask. "Brother Ye? Don't you have anything to ask me?" Hearing this, Yejuju stopped what he was doing and asked doubtfully. "What? What do I have to ask you?" Seeing the astonished expression on Luo Feng's face, Yejuju reacted and continued to collect materials while saying nonchalantly. "Oh. Are you talking about the fact that you are a spiritual master? Well, brother, yeah, I didn't mean to hide it from you, I just wanted to. No need to explain anything, everyone has secrets, including you and me. Whether you are a spiritual master or not, I don't have any extra thoughts, as long as you and I trust each other. We are teammates." "No." Hearing this, Luo Feng was immediately moved. Thinking about other people's opinions of spiritual masters, and seeing how Brother Ye didn't care about him, Luo Feng suddenly felt that Brother Ye was the most trustworthy person for him. Thinking of this, Luo Feng said a heavy hum and happily joined in the work of collecting materials. Next, the two wandered around City 003, hunting monsters and collecting materials. After 3 days of this, I didn't meet Li Zhan and others again. But it was on this day that I finally discovered something different. First, in the clear sky, 2 figures can be seen flying towards the side quickly. Luo Feng and Yejuju noticed the visitor at the same time. Luo Feng asked in surprise. "Hey. Being able to fly in the air is a god of war level warrior. That's not right. There is no beast tide here, and it is not an extremely dangerous area. Why would a god of war level warrior come here?" Hearing this, Yejuju rolled his eyes at Luo Feng and said secretly. "No wonder you were able to make mistakes under the hands of 2 powerful gods of war? Are you so curious?" But he said, "No matter what their reasons are, it's rare to see 2 war gods in action. Let's follow up and see if we can." After saying that, Yejuju took the lead in running, chasing behind the 2 war gods, and ran towards the depths of the ruins. At the same time, outside a building where the armored dragon lived, Li Zhan and 5 others, Li Wei, hid in the distance and observed the ruined buildings. Li Wei lowered his voice and said excitedly, "Uncle Zhan, is the armored dragon really inside? Are there really dragon eggs inside?" Li Zhan said while looking at the large group of monsters surrounding the building. "Yes, I can already feel the aura of the high-ranking Lord-level monster, it must be inside. It's no secret that we searched for it for several days, and finally found it." Even though he said this, Li Zhan was a little worried. The armored dragon is extremely powerful. Not only is his attack power powerful, his own defense is also extremely strong, and he can also attack with energy. His strength is no weaker than that of the god of war, and he can even beat himself. As a god of war, I really can't take down this armored dragon, let alone get the valuable dragon egg. If you want to get the dragon egg, someone needs to lure the armored dragon away. If the armored dragon is lured away, it will be difficult for anyone except the god of war level powerhouse to survive. Thinking of this, Li Zhan couldn't help but look at the 4 people around him, Lu and Lao, from the corner of his eyes. But in my mind I thought, should we sacrifice these 4 people? As long as you get the dragon egg, you will have funds to buy training resources. As soon as this idea came up, Li Zhan was moved. As for the death of 4 senior generals, how to explain to the family, haha. There is nothing difficult to explain to him. The worst thing is to give Li Wei a little more benefit afterwards. I believe that when someone comes to cause trouble, Li Yao and Vanina Belinas will help them stop it. Thinking of this, Li Zhan made a decision and was going to trick the four of them into going out to lure away the armored dragon. There was a whistling sound in the distance, and the six people couldn't help but look up at the sky, and saw two people flying quickly towards the side. Before Li Wei and others could see the person clearly, Li Zhan's expression changed and he gritted his teeth and said, "Why are they here?" Mr. Lu answered, "Well, they are two gods of war. Are they here for the armored dragon?" Hearing this, Li Wei interrupted, "Ah! What should we do? Two war gods, can we snatch them?" "Ha ha! No need to snatch, the dragon egg is ours." Li Zhan said with a sinister smile, paused and continued, "Stay away from here, we will fight together later, I can't take care of you." After that, he added, "Don't worry, I will find a chance to go in and get the dragon egg." After that, Li Zhan stopped talking, staring at the building in front of him, with a smug smile on his lips. At this time, two figures had landed from the air to the ground, landing in front of a group of bloodthirsty tanks guarding the building. After discovering the intruders, the group of pig-shaped monsters roared together, and without hesitation, they rushed towards the two people with their four hooves. The next moment, the battle broke out, and the two war gods each picked up their weapons, waving their weapons to the left and right to meet the group of monsters rushing towards them. The god of war is worthy of being the god of war. The bloodthirsty tanks that used to run rampant in the past could not be rampant at all under the hands of the two men. Before they could rush to the two men, they were killed by them like a rotten wood. Then, a large group of monsters rushed out of the building, most of which were bloodthirsty tanks, and there were also monsters with the strength of high-level beast generals. But these were no difficulty for the two gods of war, and it was not difficult to kill them. Finally, the battle still attracted the armored dragon. When the huge figure of the armored dragon appeared outside the building, the two gods of war became alert and prepared for the battle. At this time, Yejuju and the others also arrived at the periphery of the building, hiding in the ruins of the building. Looking at the huge monster figure in the distance, Luo Feng smacked his lips and said, "Brother Ye, is this the armored dragon? It looks really strong." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanqi. Chapter 384. As soon as the armored dragon appeared outside the lair, it let out a loud roar. Came the roar of filial piety. The next moment, he rushed towards the two gods of war and launched a fierce attack. For it, the energy that two human god-level warriors can bring to it is enough to support it in successfully hatching the dragon egg. This time the two gods of war did not dare to be so casual. After all, they were senior lord-level monsters, and their strength was not something that the two gods of war could underestimate. In an instant, the two of them used their own methods to dodge the collision of the armored dragon, and launched a backhand attack at the armored dragon. Pity. After the two people's attacks hit the armored dragon, they failed to hurt the armored dragon at all. However, they aroused the armored dragon's ferocity even more and attacked the two men even more crazily. As the two men and one beast moved around, the battle venue gradually moved away from the nest, leaving only a large group of monsters still guarding inside and outside the nest. Seeing that the time was right, Li Zhan approached the building gropingly, hoping to take the opportunity to sneak in and steal the dragon egg. This kind of behavior is not at all in line with his status as the god of war, and there is quite a bit of villainy in it. It has to be said that birds of a feather flock together, and he, who was also born in the Bolanaz family, also inherited the bad habits of the people in this family. I simply don't dare to act openly and get what I want. Of course, Yejuju and Luo Feng were not much better. They also took this opportunity to touch the armored dragon's lair from the other side. The difference is that Li Jian could only avoid the visible monsters at most, but he could not completely avoid the monsters hidden in the lair. Finally, not long after entering the building, he was discovered by the monsters inside, and a big battle broke out immediately. Although the strength of these monsters was not enough for Li Jian, it was enough to delay Li Jian and make him fall behind Yejuju and the other two into the depths of the lair. But Yejuju is different. First, Yejuju has danger perception and can detect danger nearby and avoid it in advance. Secondly, with Luo Feng, a spiritual master, who can use his mental power to detect, he can naturally avoid the monster in advance and quickly reach deeper into the building without any delay. After a while, the two of them entered the depths of the armored dragon's lair. Looking at the empty hall in front of him, as well as the huge nest in the hall, and the huge dragon egg inside that exudes a strange light purple light. To be honest, Yejuju and Luo Feng were both a little excited. The next moment, without waiting for Luo Feng to react, Yejuju quickly stepped forward and put his hand on the dragon egg, wanting to put the egg into the space with a thought. However, he was embarrassed to find that he could not collect the dragon eggs, and the system beep sounded at the same time. Congratulations to the host for triggering the hidden mission Ironclad Dragon Egg. 1. Escape from the pursuit of the high-level Lord-level monsters Armored Dragon and God of War Li Jian, and you will be rewarded with 10,000 experience points. 2. If you successfully counter-attack the Armored Dragon and the God of War Li Jian, you will be rewarded with 60,000 experience points, the 9-layer Ice Sword upgraded to the 4th level, and the 5 Hearts to the Sky Heart technique upgraded to Mastery. What a generous reward! This is the first time Yejuju has been so excited since receiving the mission. The reward is so generous. Although 6W experience is not the most rewarded in system tasks, it is still quite a lot. What's more, there are also skills upgrade rewards that directly improve one's own strength, which are the most valuable. The next second, Yejuju stopped worrying about whether the dragon egg could be stored in the space. He quickly picked up the pretend backpack, pulled the dragon egg into the backpack, zipped it up and put it behind his back, and the two of them quickly left the lair of the armored dragon. The moment General Yejuju took the dragon egg away, the armored dragon realized that the egg had been stolen and became violent. With one claw, he forced the two gods of war back. He no longer cared about chasing the two gods of war, and turned around to pursue Yejuju in the direction in which they escaped. Along the way, the armored dragon no longer followed the road, but bumped into it regardless. All the dilapidated buildings along the road were knocked down and collapsed, making an uninterrupted rumbling sound. The momentum was so great that not even the two war gods dared to catch up. Looking at the armored dragon moving away, the two gods of war looked very bad. They were originally here to hunt the armored dragon. Just because I received many reports from the warrior team that the armored dragon was frantically hunting down the warrior team members, I thought that the two gods of war would be able to kill the armored dragon. But who would have thought that the armored dragon was so powerful, and even the two of them couldn't take down the armored dragon, or even seriously injure the armored dragon. The two warriors, who were only junior war gods, finally gave up the urge to chase the armored dragon when they saw the armored dragon going berserk at this moment. After the two looked at each other, they chose to go back first and report the situation, waiting for more powerful warriors to be dispatched to deal with the armored dragon. The departure of the two God of War warriors destined Li Jian and others to die at the hands of Yejuju and Luo Feng. Even if Li Jian and the others had the means to seek help, no one in the depths of City 003 could arrive in time to save a few people. Of course, this is also the result of the incomplete information obtained by the two war gods. If the two war gods knew that there was a dragon egg here, the armored dragon crazily hunts human warriors in order to have more energy to breed dragon eggs, so it will not leave here. The attraction of a dragon egg is not only huge for Li Jian, Yejuju and others, but also for the two gods of war. If they stayed, as long as Li Jian and others asked them for help, they would stop Yejuju and the others from killing them for the sake of the Bolanaz family. The consequence for Zhao Chen would be that the two of them and Luo Feng's family would face the endless troubles of the Bolanaz family. At this time, Li Zhan was still in the lair of the armored dragon, fighting hard with the beasts ruled by the armored dragon. He never thought that the dragon egg he had been thinking about had been stolen by Yejuju and the others. It was not until the roar of the armored dragon came from not far away and the boom sound of the collapsed buildings along the way that Li Zhan realized that something was wrong. Yejuju and the others had already slipped out of the armored dragon's lair. The difference was that Luo Feng was excited all the way, and from time to time he glanced at the backpack behind Yejuju, with a gleam in his eyes. He knew that the value of the armored dragon egg at the auction was at least 10 billion. So, if this dragon egg could be brought back safely, both of them could get at least 5 billion in money. With such a huge amount of funds, not only will the two have the resources for cultivation, but his family will also be able to live a better life. Yejuju didn't think so, and was thinking all the way. How can I kill Tai Jialong and Li Zhan and others? As for Li Wei and others, Yejuju will not let them go. Even if the mission did not require him to kill Li Wei and others, Yejuju would kill them. First, it can delay the time for the Bolanaz family to track him down. Second, it is also to vent his anger for the anger he suffered before. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanqi. Chapter 385. Of course, if you want to kill the armored dragon, Li Zhan, and others, your own strength will naturally be exposed. Rightward arrow. Yejuju is not worried about this, and believes that Luo Feng is a tight-lipped person. Although the two were extremely fast and were several kilometers away from the armored dragon's lair, they were still chased by the angry armored dragon. Hearing the angry roars and the sound of buildings collapsing behind him, Yejuju raised his eyes and looked around, then rushed toward an area with dense buildings with Luo Feng, whose face turned ugly. Yejuju planned to take advantage of the environment here to have a chance with the armored dragon to see if it was possible to kill the armored dragon. After all, the strength of the armored dragon is that of a senior lord, comparable to a senior god of war. It is really not that easy to kill it. But that doesn't mean there's no chance. Don't forget, he has Han Liu's ultimate move and Luo Feng's telekinetic flying knife. Although Yejuju knew that with Luo Feng's current level of mental power, he could not break through the armored dragon's defense. But don't ignore one point. No matter how strong the armored dragon's defense is, its internal organs wrapped in a thick layer of skin are still fragile. As long as Luo Feng can find an opportunity to shoot the telekinetic flying knife into its mouth, there will be a chance, right? As for Li Zhan, he had long seen that although Li Zhan was a junior god of war, his own strength statistics were only at the bottom among the junior gods of war. He still had a chance to kill him, even if he calculated mentally or not. After all, the armor he wore. Not to mention the heaven-defying black god, even the strongest SS level is not, just S level. It is conceivable that Li Zhan is nothing more than this. Arriving at the location, Yejuju and Luo Feng stood side by side on the top floor of a building, looking at the armored dragon rushing towards them 1 kilometer away. Yejuju no longer hesitated and said to Luo Feng beside him, "It seems that it is impossible for us to leave here safely. The solution for now is to give it a try." Before Luo Feng could express his position, Yejuju raised his hand to interrupt Luo Feng and continued. "Now that you've told me your secret, now it's time to let you know mine." After saying that, with Luo Feng's expression as if he had seen a ghost, Yejuju thought, and the armor on his body disappeared, and the falcon armor instantly covered his body. Before it was over, Yejuju spread out his hands, and 2 ice knives, exuding cold air and no weaker than metal weapons, appeared in his hands. Seeing Yejuju transforming in front of him, Luo Feng's breathing became rapid due to excitement. The last rat tide was still vivid in his mind, and the transformed Yejuju left a very deep impression on Luo Feng. He later understood that Yejuju was just a junior general, but he had exploded with a fighting power that was not weaker than the god of war. Such strength. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Luo Feng regarded Yejuju as his idol and the target he tried his best to pursue. He also has the confidence that like Yejuju, he can surpass levels and explode with powerful combat effectiveness. Who told him to have this bug skill of incredible spiritual power? Now seeing Yejuju transformed into his idol standing in front of him, Luo Feng couldn't be more excited. So much so that Luo Feng became incoherent due to excitement and stuttered. Leaf. Brother yet. You. I. Interrupting Luo Feng's words, Yejuju said solemnly. Now, I have no secrets in front of you, I hope we can both keep secrets for each other. Next. We are going to work together to kill this armored dragon that is chasing us, how about it? Are you confident? This is a high-level lord-level monster with extremely powerful defense and attack power. After hearing Yejuju's words, Luo Feng instantly relaxed and said proudly. With brother Ye here, why should I not be confident? Oh. Don't forget, I also have a trump card. After speaking, Luo Feng stretched out his right hand and spread his palm. His eyes suddenly flashed with purple light, and 6 telekinetic flying knives behind him floated above his palm and floated quietly. Very satisfied with Luo Feng's performance, Yejuju nodded and said. Next, it's time to make tactical arrangements. I will fight the armored dragon head-on. You find the right opportunity and control the flying knife to shoot into its mouth. It is best to hit its heart with one blow and kill it with one blow. Note that you may only have one chance, so don't take it lightly. I will create opportunities for you, understand? Luo Feng knew the seriousness of the matter and nodded heavily in agreement, with a look of determination on his face. As he spoke, the armored dragon had already rushed 100 meters away from the two of them. He saw Yejuju and the two standing on the top floor of the building and smelled the breath of his offspring. The armored dragon's originally blue eyes instantly turned red, and he raised his head and said "Ang." With a huge dragon roar, they rushed towards Yejuju and the others. Yejuju started the thruster, flew up from the top of the building, and launched an attack on the armored dragon from the air. This time, Yejuju didn't hold back, and used a compressed cold wave ultimate move that consumed 1000 energy. Luo Feng saw Yejuju flying over the armored dragon at twice the speed of supersonic speed. The two knives in his hands quickly merged into a 10-meter-long giant knife, which was raised above his head. The giant knife emitted a dazzling light in the sun. Then, a white light ball condensed on the tip of the ice knife, and the next second the armored dragon also jumped towards Yejuju in the air. At this moment, under the powerful mental force of Luo Feng, the movements of the man and the beast were even slowed down a bit. He could clearly see the oppressive feeling brought by the huge figure of the armored dragon when it soared into the air. He could also see how powerful the explosive power of the inconspicuous white light ball on Yejuju's giant knife would be. Swish. Ka-la. Ka-cha. The sounds rang out one after another, but it was the extremely cold ice ball compressed on the tip of Yejuju's knife that had hit the huge body of the armored dragon. Just like the Battle of the Rat Tide, the ice ball did not make any earth-shattering explosions, but in the instant of contact with the body of the armored dragon, the extremely cold air enveloped the huge body of the armored dragon, and frost and ice quickly condensed on its surface. Even though the armored dragon had abnormal defense and could occasionally shake its body slightly to break free from the ice, the constantly invading ice still affected its attack and reaction speed. Yejuju also took the opportunity to push the armor forward, flew past the armored dragon at high speed, and slashed the armored dragon's eyeball with the 10-meter-long knife in his hand. Puff. Snap. Under the influence of the cold air, one of the armored dragon's eyes was cut by Yejuju before it could resist. Ang. Roar. Awoo. The miserable howl came from the armored dragon's mouth. Across the heavens, Marvel's mechanical hunter. Author, Dachuanchi. Chapter 386. At the same time, the armored dragon's body also hit the building, completely collapsing the building before falling to the ground. Diamond suit, diamond suit. At this time, the power of the ultimate move was about to end. Even so, it still left a layer of frost on the armored dragon's body. Resisting the pain of being blinded in one eye, the armored dragon shook its body to shatter the ice on its surface and shake it off. The remaining eye looked at Yejuju suspended in the air and shot out a ray of hatred. Roar! The armored dragon rose up again and pounced on Yejuju in the air. This time, Yejuju did not waste energy and chose to use his body skills to fight the armored dragon in the air. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. It has to be said that Yejuju really grasped the weakness of the armored dragon. Although the armored dragon can jump dozens of meters high effortlessly, its original advantage is lost when it is in the air and cannot use its limbs. The hard horn, sharp fangs and claws, and the powerful tail that can easily sweep away a god of war warrior have all become decorations. Yejuju, on the other hand, used the speed of the armor and the flowing movement of the 9-layer ice blade to easily avoid the armored dragon's heavy attack, leaving 10 marks on the armored dragon's body. Here comes the scar. Pity. Although the ice blade is hard and sharp, it cannot break through the thick skin made by the armored dragon. Even the power of ice that can freeze everything can only bring negligible freezing damage to the armored dragon. But the biggest effect of the ice blade is to slow down. This is why Yejuju has the confidence to join forces with Luo Feng to kill the armored dragon. The reason why Luo Feng has not been allowed to join the battle until now is because Yejuju was consuming the armored dragon's physical strength and energy. Yes, it's a consumption station. As long as the armored dragon's physical strength and energy are consumed to the same extent, even if Luo Feng is only a high-level warrior, he can still kill the armored dragon with his telekinesis flying knife. Sure enough, after several attempts to jump to no avail, the armored dragon crawled on the ground and raised its head, with its huge mouth open. In its bottomless throat, blue light clusters continued to condense, apparently converging energy towards Yejuju launches a long-range attack. This is the result that Yejuju wants. Only after the armored dragon's energy is consumed in large quantities can Luo Feng's telekinetic flying knife pierce its throat and explode its heart. Otherwise, a bad thing, if the armored dragon has enough energy in its body, the moment the flying knife enters the mouth. If the armored dragon was aware of it and launched an energy attack, it might be able to block Luo Feng's telekinetic flying knife, thus wiping out all previous efforts. You must know that although the armored dragon is reckless and has a low IQ, it must always be on guard after suffering a loss. If it doesn't open its mouth, how can Luo Feng's flying knife accomplish anything? After waiting for a long time, once Li Zhan and others came over, it would not be Yejuju who wanted to kill Li Zhan and others. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. If Li Zhan took advantage of the armored dragon to hunt down the two of them, and attack them from the side, they would have to shed their skin even if they didn't die. In fact, when Li Zhan saw the armored dragon going away at this time, he thought it was the two gods of war who had lured the armored dragon away. Faced with the siege of countless monsters, he immediately called Mr. Lu and others into the lair. Several people worked together to kill the monsters in the lair so that they can enter the depths and find the dragon egg. Fortunately, Li Zhan and others didn't know at all that the dragon egg had been stolen by Yejuju and the others. If they had known, they would have searched for the movements made by one man and one beast during the battle. Then it will really be like Yejuju thought, Li Zhan. Not only would they not help Yejuju deal with the armored dragon, but they would find an opportunity to sneak attack Yejuju and the two of them, not to mention killing them. He will also wait until the armored dragon and Yejuju are both injured before taking action to be the fisherman who gets the advantage. The armored dragon's energy attack is as simple as ever. It is an energy beam shot from its mouth. Although it is extremely fast, Yejuju has perfect body skills at his side and has no scruples about it. Even if the armored dragon tried its best to consume energy, maintain the energy beam, and shoot after Yejuju's figure, it could not keep up with the more than 700 meters of movement speed of Yejuju's armor. You know, even in the later stages, those who are beyond the God of War level and can fly by themselves, such as Far, the elder of the Bolanaz family, is only at this speed. This is true even for transcendent gods of war, let alone the armored dragons that are only high-level gods of war. The energy beam could not attack Yejuju, and the armored dragon became more and more violent. No longer saving its own energy, beams of energy light kept spraying out from its mouth, hoping to threaten Yejuju through quantity, and it also felt like playing with a sniper rifle. I dotsit herfot small book kioske. Pity. No matter how it changed its attack methods, it just couldn't hit Yejuju. Instead, Yejuju took advantage of it and couldn't move when it launched an attack, and from time to time, he slashed out a sword energy and hit the armored dragon. Although it was not enough to hurt the armored dragon, it was enough to make the armored dragon fly into a rage and lose its only sanity. After half an hour of this, the armored dragon's endless squandering of energy finally made it unable to launch another energy attack. This can actually be regarded as Yejuju's luck. He stole the dragon egg, making the armored dragon furious and desperate to kill Yejuju. As for a powerful creature like the armored dragon, its IQ is really not that good. Once it is angered by Yejuju, it really can't think of anything else. That's why the armored dragon wasted energy endlessly and ended up with no energy available. If it were any other intelligent Lord-level monster, it would never consume all its energy and would definitely leave a backup plan for itself. Seeing the armored dragon open its mouth several times, only a faint blue halo appeared in its mouth and disappeared in an instant, Yejuju knew that his chance had come and the armored dragon was dragged down by himself. While swooping down from the air and engaging in close combat with the armored dragon, he loudly reminded Luo Feng, who was watching from a distance. It has no energy anymore. I will fight it in close combat, and you find the right opportunity to control the flying knife. Kill it. Yejuju shouted the last three words one by one, causing Luo Feng, who heard Yejuju's shouting, to tremble with excitement. He loudly replied, I know, brother. Yet. After that, Luo Feng could not wait to enter the edge of the battlefield, stood at a suitable distance, and floated the telekinetic flying knife in front of him, waiting for the opportunity to come. To be honest, it would be strange if he didn't envy Yejuju for playing with a high-level Lord-level monster so easily. If Yejuju had not made a battle plan long ago, he would have wanted to join the battle group and personally experience the feeling of fighting with a high-level Lord-level monster. Close combat can be regarded as an eye-opener for Luo Feng. Although he was lucky enough to improve his body skills to the perfect level through his own efforts, his fighting skills were far behind Yejuju. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, Da Chuanqi. Chapter 387. Yejuju will use all surrounding environmental factors, even the body of the armored dragon, to quickly rotate around the armored dragon when it attacks. The huge body of the armored dragon would rotate with Yejuju from time to time. As for the originally powerful tail, no matter where it attacked, it could not reach Yejuju. Luo Feng saw that Yejuju could always use small swings of his body to jump, and narrowly dodge the armored dragon's tail-sweeping attacks. Luo Feng could see that Yejuju's dodge seemed extremely dangerous, but it was always just right, without wasting any extra movement or energy. This kind of subtle operation in battle is also the extreme operation he yearns for. Of course, he can't do it now, but he will definitely be able to do it in the future. He has that confidence. Luo Feng also benefited a lot from Yejuju's battle with the armored dragon, and learned many combat skills that were very practical for him. After more than 10 minutes of fighting, the armored dragon became more and more impatient, and its attack power became stronger. However, Yejuju completely took the lead. While the range of attacks increased, the gaps between attacks became wider and wider, leaving loopholes. I feel more and more. Ahurfat I Dotsadaha. Yejuju knew that the time had come. While dodging and attacking the armored dragon, he compressed the ice energy in his body and condensed an energy ball. This time, in order to create a chance for Luo Feng to kill the armored dragon, Yejuju did not hesitate to consume 2/3 of his body's energy to attack the armored dragon. The reason why all the energy was not used was to save it to deal with Li Zhan and others who were about to appear. Wingdings, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. This blow did not disappoint Yejuju. The ice ball hit the irritable armored dragon, who did not know how to dodge. The armored dragon's huge body was immediately frozen for a moment. Even if the armored dragon shook its body quickly and shattered the ice wrapped around it, it was enough. Seeing the armored dragon open its mouth, he didn't wait for Yejuju to remind him. Luo Feng had already spotted the opportunity, and under the control of his telepathy, 6 telepathy flying knives shot out with a whoosh sound. They were pieced together one after another in the air, forming a petal-shaped knife ball with the blade tips facing each other. It rotated at high speed and shot into the armored dragon's open mouth. Ouch! Roar! A painful and shrill howl sounded, and the flying knife successfully penetrated into the armored dragon's heart, instantly mincing the armored dragon's heart into minced meat. With its heart crushed, the armored dragon could no longer support its huge body and fell heavily to the ground. It convulsed for a few seconds and died completely. Win. Luo Feng still murmured as if he didn't believe it. Yejuju landed from the sky, reached out and patted Luo Feng's shoulder and said, "Yes, we won, ironclad dragon. We were killed together." Luo Feng was so excited that he didn't know what to say and could only keep nodding in agreement. At this moment, applause sounded in the distance, and the two of them followed the sound and saw 5 people headed by Li Zhan and Li Wei walking over. In fact, Yejuju knew that Li Zhan was coming. With Queen Hong as a good observer, how could he not know that Li Zhan and others were coming? This was also the reason why Yejuju did not use all his strength before. The two of them watched Li Zhan and others walk in. Luo Feng frowned and said to the 6 of them rudely, "What are you here for? Could it be that they saw us killing the armored dragon and wanted to steal our prey?" The word again revealed the dirty thoughts of Li Zhan and others. But this time Li Zhan and others behaved differently. They ignored Luo Feng's questions and looked at the clothes. Yejuju, who was covered in armor, said, "I didn't expect. The warrior that all the major forces are looking for to deal with the rat tide will be you. He. How about it? How about joining our Bolinas family? Money, beauty, fame, status, you name it, we can give it to you." "Tisk, not interested," Yejuju said with a sneer, and then said politely, "I'll say it again, I will not join any family force. Once I join the Extreme Martial Arts Gym, I will be a member of the Extreme Martial Arts Gym for the rest of my life. You don't have to waste your energy on me." After saying that, Yejuju climbed onto the armored dragon's body and began to collect the materials from the armored dragon. Of course, his mind was still focused on Li Zhan and others, waiting for these people to be unable to restrain themselves and take action, so that he could kill them in an upright manner. Sure enough, seeing Yejuju being so disrespectful and rejecting the Bolinas family's solicitation again and again, Li Wei was the first to lose his temper. He just heard him say with a heavy hum, "Humph. Don't think it's great just because you can solve the rat tide? It is your honor that our Bolinas family thinks highly of you. Since you are so ungrateful, then take your followers and get out of City 003, leaving the body of the armored dragon behind, and we will let you go. Otherwise, snort. Don't even think about going back to Jiangnan base." Seeing that Li Wei had indeed threatened him, Yejuju stood up, without even looking at Li Wei, but looked at Li Zhan and asked. What? Is this what you mean? Li Zhan couldn't help but frown when he heard this. He couldn't understand why the person in front of him was so confident, and he felt a little uneasy in his heart. But the next moment he pushed this feeling out of his mind and said in a deep voice. What my nephew said is what I said. Since you don't take the Bolanos family seriously, I naturally want to teach you a lesson. You get lost. So domineering. The word go away vividly demonstrated the arrogance and domineering nature of the Bolanos family. Yejuju knew that the battle was about to start, so he nodded to Luo Feng and looked at the people behind Li Zhan. Luo Feng is so smart. After working with Yejuju for so long, he naturally understood what Yejuju meant. Li Zhan handed it over to Yejuju, and the rest of them handed it over to him. To be honest, Luo Feng was inevitably a little scared, but he was more excited. After all, these are 4 high-level generals. It's really a big challenge for him. But why was he so excited? He nodded heavily to Yejuju, indicating that he understood. Yejuju then took a step forward and looked at Li Zhan with fighting intent and said. If I say no. Such an attitude immediately made Li Zhan angry. How long had it been? Ever since he became the god of war, except for those beings that he really couldn't afford to offend, no one dared to speak like this in front of him for a long time. Li Zhan laughed angrily and said with a loud laugh. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Boy. Don't tell me no, you are really brave. But there is a price to pay for arrogance. And that's the price. Die. After saying that, Li Zhan drew his sword from his back, his momentum became violent, and he rushed towards Yejuju. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanqi. Chapter 388. Yejuju was not afraid at all. He condensed an ice knife with each hand, took out the knife flower with both hands, and rushed towards Li Zhan. On the other side, Li Wei arrogantly pointed at Luo Feng and shouted. Kill him for me. The 4 senior generals all attacked Luo Feng without hesitation. Needless to say, it is shameless to surround and kill a high-level warrior with 4 high-level generals. But they just did it without any embarrassment. This is actually not their fault. Although they are arrogant and domineering, they are not stupid. A junior general and a senior warrior could work together to kill a senior lord-level armored dragon. Without any skills, no one would believe it. The reason why the 4 of them took action together was naturally because they valued Luo Feng. As for Yejuju, Li Zhan alone is enough. Besides, even if they wanted to intervene in the battle of the God of War, several of their senior generals would not be able to intervene. Luo Feng did not dare to stay where he was and fight the 4 high-level generals. Although he had the telekinetic flying knife as his trump card, it did not give him the confidence to fight against the 4 high-level generals. Without hesitation, Luo Feng turned around and ran, quickly rushing into the ruins of the building destroyed by the armored dragon. The 4 senior generals followed closely, leaving only Li Wei on the spot. He was cheering for Li Zhan, but it was better to say that he was not strong enough. Only by staying with Li Zhan could he possibly save his life. In the field, Yejuju was already fighting with Li Zhan. Yejuju didn't hold back, and took out the 3-layer 9-layer ice blade at full strength. The ice blade collided with Li Zhan's sword. After a bang sound, the ice blade was overwhelmed and shattered. Yejuju himself was so shocked by Li Zhan's huge strength that he took 6 or 7 steps back before he could stop. The palms of his hands were numb from the shock, and Yejuju finally had a clear understanding of the powerful god of war in this world. Not to mention other things, this power alone is not something he can resist head-on. Seeing Yejuju destroying his weapon with one move from Li Zhan and being knocked out again, Li Wei couldn't help but mocked. Do you still think you are so amazing? Do you only have this ability? Can't even catch one of my Uncle Jean's moves? What else are you proud of? Yejuju didn't take Li Wei's taunts to heart at all, but looked at Li Zhan with fighting spirit. The next second, his body suddenly rose into the air, and two ice knives reappeared in his hands, and then they merged into a huge 10-meter-long ice knife. Li Zhan's face turned dark, and only he knew that although he was stronger than Yejuju, he did not cause any substantial harm to Yejuju. Now that he saw Yejuju flying into the air and the knife in his hand turned into a 10-meter-long giant knife, he couldn't help but become worried. Worried that he would capsize in the gutter and be defeated by Yejuju. Because, although he can fly, he can only fly with the help of props. Let him fight Yejuju in the air, he really can't do it. Thinking that Yejuju could fly in the air for a long time, Li Zhan suddenly understood why the armored dragon died in the hands of Yejuju and the others. Emotionally, the armored dragon was just like him, unable to do anything to deal with Yejuju flying in the air. Ahrafat I. Satsa. It was said that it was too late and that it was soon. Yejuju made a chirp sound, and the speed was. Swooping down, the huge ice knife flashed with dazzling light in the air. It slashed hard, and a huge sword energy slashed towards Li Zhan. Li Zhan's heart was awe-inspiring, and he did not dare to underestimate Yejuju's attack. He held the handle of the knife with both hands and raised it diagonally upwards. A huge sword energy that was not inferior to Yejuju's sword energy was formed, and he faced Yejuju's sword energy from the air. The two blades of sword energy collided together quickly, making a boom, boom, boom. It was like a bomb exploding with a loud noise. For a moment, the airflow between the two people raged out like a violent wind. The strong wind pressed down from mid-air, blowing up all the dust on the ground and vaguely covering Li Zhan's figure. This time, Yejuju did not suffer a loss. After all, he had the upper hand. He was condescending and fought evenly with Li Zhan. No one took advantage. After two trials, Yejuju had a clearer understanding of Li Zhan's strength. Li Zhan's strength is only in his early 60s, and he has just touched the edge of a junior god of war. His skills are not yet the top ones in the world, and his actual combat skills are also very rudimentary. Of course, what Yejuju considers to be superficial is relative to the advanced combat master skills he obtained from the system. In this world, Li Zhan's combat skills are still very good. After all, warriors who can become gods of war have more or less experience fighting monsters many times. Without any ability, it would be possible to live till now. With this understanding, Yejuju naturally knew how to fight Li Zhan. He used his armor to fly in the air and his super high movement speed to launch an attack on Li Zhan, leaving Li Zhan overwhelmed and revealing his flaws. Finally, he launched his ultimate move and killed Li Zhan with one hit. So, in the eyes of Li Wei, an unlearned person, such a scene appeared. Yejuju did not dare to fight with Li Zhan. He was chased by his uncle Zhan and fled in the air. When he had no other choice, he exchanged a few moves with Uncle Zhan and quickly escaped. But only Li Zhan himself knew the actual situation. This guy was really cunning. I don't know what happened. This guy is obviously only a junior general, and even if he bursts out with all his strength, he is only as powerful as a mid-level general, but he is faster than the god of war. In the eyes of others, it seems that Yejuju was chased by him and had nowhere to escape, so he turned around and fought with him for a few moves. But in fact, Yejuju used his advantage of being faster than him to attack him. That's fine, every time he was clearly prepared to fight back. But after Yejuju launched the attack, when he was accumulating strength to counterattack, he slipped away. Even if he had to fight with him, it was just a contact, and he slipped away before he could exert his strength. The most uncomfortable thing was that when he burst out with all his strength, it felt like a heavy punch hitting the air, which made him particularly uncomfortable. He didn't know that this was Yejuju using the fighting skills of 4 ounces to move 1,000 pounds and the touch and run fighting skills to fight him. After doing this several times, Li Jian unconsciously began to get irritated, and his flaws also unconsciously increased. He didn't know that he had been brought into Yejuju's rhythm just like the Iron Dragon. The impatient Li Jian finally roared angrily after another weak fight with Yejuju. "Boy, if you have the guts, fight me squarely. Why are you running away?" Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, Chuanqi. Chapter 389. He answered with Yejuju's disdainful laugh. Yejuju still went his own way and fought with Li Jian at his own pace. The more impatient Li Jian becomes, the more confident Yejuju will be in making Li Jian relax his vigilance and follow his own plans. Hearing Li Jian's words, Li Wei couldn't help but be shocked. He really didn't expect that the battle situation would be like this. This completely subverted his cognition. It's ridiculous that a strong god of war can't do anything with a junior general. But the facts clearly appeared in front of him, and he no longer dared to talk nonsense and ridicule Yejuju, for fear that Uncle Jean could not kill Yejuju and Yejuju would cause trouble for him. After being entangled like this for half an hour, Li Jian became more and more furious. Although the physical loss was not serious, he had gradually relaxed in offense and defense. This can be seen from his casual attitude when dealing with Yejuju's attacks and counterattacks. Yejuju knew that his chance to kill Li Jian had come. So, when Yejuju rushed in front of Li Jian again, he suddenly launched his ultimate move, Cold Wave. A large piece of white mist, with icy coldness, instantly surged up Li Jian's body, making Li Jian shiver involuntarily, but he was just reserved. Li Jian was just stunned for a moment. As the god of war, he was not afraid of the mere cold air and was about to strike with all his strength. Suddenly, he discovered that in the vague mist, a white ball of light suddenly came towards him. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Subconsciously, Li Jian swung his sword and slashed at the ball of light. The moment the sword came into contact with the ball of light, he suddenly reacted. This ball of light shouldn't be in direct contact with it. The scene in which Yejuju killed the Rat King in the Rat Tide came to mind involuntarily. The image of the Rat King being frozen into ice had just emerged from his mind. The sword had collided with the ball of light. It got stuck. The sound suddenly sounded and quickly connected the city. Before he, the god of war, could react, the ice had already spread from the sword to his palm, then to his arm, and finally spread throughout his body at an extremely fast speed. What frightened him the most was that the white mist from before was actually showing its power now. He had obviously used his strength to crack the ice wrapped around him, but the next second, the white mist surged up onto his body, restoring the ice to its original state, and also wrapped a thick layer of ice around his body. Soon, the ice block grew bigger and bigger, and almost in the blink of an eye, his entire body was wrapped in a huge ice block. The hardness of the ice was beyond Li Jian's expectation. Even though he, as the god of war, had a strength of up to 6 kilograms, he was unable to break the ice at this time. At the same time, he felt it. The ice wrapped around the body is not like ordinary ice cubes, it is extremely cold and even feels bone-chilling. Not only did it consume his body's heat, it also caused continuous freezing damage to his body. What kind of ghost technique is this? At this moment, Li Jian thought of an extremely terrifying person in horror. That is the world's #1 god of war, Hong, and the iceberg among the 3 personal guards who surpass the god of war around him. Bingshan's strength is rumored to be second only to Hong, who single-handedly trained them, and Thor, the second best person in the world. And his ability is to control the ice element, and he uses the power of ice. And Yejuju's abilities are somewhat similar to Bingshan's. Whether it's the ability to condense ice blades out of thin air to attack, or the ability to freeze himself instantly, they are all somewhat similar to Bingshan. Could it be? People and icebergs in front of me. Is there any connection? I have to say that Li Jian thought too much. Being trapped by Yejuju's ultimate move, he still had time to think about all these things. Did he really not know that he was not far from death? It only took a few seconds for the continuous damage of the cold wave's ultimate move to be revealed. Li Jian could already feel numbness and loss of intuition at the ends of his hands and feet, and this feeling was rapidly spreading to the center of his body. It was only then that Li Jian became afraid and wanted to beg for mercy, but his mouth was covered with ice and he could not beg for mercy. At this moment, Li Jian regretted extremely why he was greedy and wanted to take Yejuju into the family, but he also wanted to steal Yejuju's prey. Pity. He regretted it too late. Yejuju would never let him go no matter what. In fact, Yejuju was helpless at this time, although he had planned all this in advance. You know, Li Jian is the god of war warrior, and his ultimate move Cold Wave alone cannot trap Li Jian. With Li Jian's god of war physique, he was able to stay away from the range of his ultimate move before the cold wave completely broke out, within a range of only 100 meters. Although his ultimate compression move, Freeze Ball, the name Yejuju named for his ultimate compression move, is an instant burst skill that can instantly freeze Li Jian, but as long as Li Jian is prepared, he can avoid it. There was no way, who told him to expose this trick during the rat tide before. For these reasons, Yejuju chose to fight with Li Zanyue, causing him to gradually lose his vigilance. First, he used his ultimate cold wave to shroud Li Jian, and then with the help of white mist to block his sight, he launched a freezing ball to completely freeze him. The combination of the two ultimate moves has an effect far greater than 1-1, which is the key to why Li Jian, the god of war, cannot break free from the ice. But in this way, Yejuju's own energy consumption is real. He used the ice knife, the range of the big move Cold Current, and the freezing ball successively, and his energy was already running low. At this time, he had to maintain the range of the big move, which consumed it even faster. Her thought this star really wants to retire. He couldn't help but worry whether he could kill Li Jian before his energy was completely consumed. If Li Jian didn't die when his energy was exhausted, Yejuju would have to give up the body of the iron-armored dragon and escape from here. Li Wei, who was standing outside the white fog, didn't dare to go forward to check the situation inside. He had tried to walk into the white fog before. Who knew that as soon as he entered, he felt cold and uncomfortable. He, who had been pampered in the past, couldn't stand such coldness, and immediately retreated. It was also in this way that he saved his life and didn't freeze to death in the cold current big move. Seeing that 1 minute was up, Yejuju's energy was running out. The system prompt sounded suddenly. Congratulations to the host, you have completed the hidden task Iron Dragon Egg. 1. Avoid the pursuit of the high-level Lord Monster Iron Dragon and the God of War Li Jian, and you will be rewarded with 10,000 experience points. 2. If you successfully kill the Iron Dragon and the God of War Li Jian, you will be rewarded with 60,000 experience points, the 9-layer Ice Blade will be upgraded to the 4th level, and the 5 Hearts to the Sky Heart method will be upgraded to Mastery. The host's level has been upgraded. The current level is 35, and the strength and physical strength will be increased by 0.5 each. Intelligence, spirit, and agility will be increased by 1 each, and they have been automatically assigned to the attribute panel. For details, please check it yourself. The host's level has been upgraded. The current level is 36, and the strength and physical strength will be increased by 0.5 each. Intelligence, spirit, and agility will be increased by 1 each, and they have been automatically assigned to the attribute panel. For details, please check it yourself. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanqi. Chapter 390. Yejuju knew that Li Jian was dead without going up to check. It's ridiculous to say it. It's really sad that a powerful god of war level died under the mere cold ice. However, It also shows from the side that the power of ice in Yejuju's body is indeed different from ordinary natural power. If there is a chance to develop it, it may evolve into some powerful skills. Searched can on Google. I.it Herfut. The white mist had not completely dissipated, and Li Wei could not see what was going on inside. He did not know that his uncle Jean was dead at this time. However, he subconsciously felt nervous and had a bad premonition that he couldn't get rid of. The next moment, he saw a figure flying out of the white mist with a hide sound, before he could see clearly. He felt that his neck had been pinched tightly by a cold, metallic hand. The powerful force made it impossible for him to break free. Ahem. Cough. Li Wei suddenly felt short of breath and coughed painfully, but he saw clearly the person coming. It was Yejuju whom he had mocked before. Seeing that it was Yejuju, Li Wei was quite smart and immediately guessed that his uncle Jean, whom he relied on, was probably in danger. However, the sense of superiority brought to him by living in the Bolinas family for a long time made him forget about Yejuju. Of terror, he spoke. Ahem, you, let me go, ahem, my father is Li Yao, a high-level god of war. Before Li Wei could finish his threatening words, Yejuju said coldly. Li Yao. Senior god of war, nicknamed Vulture, so what? Since I have killed Li Zhan, I am not afraid of offending him. As for you, since we all came together, let's go together. You. No. Want. After hearing Yejuju's cold words, Li Wei felt frightened and hurriedly asked for mercy, but Yejuju would not talk nonsense to him. In order to prevent this kid from sending out a distress signal before he died, Yejuju simply exerted force on his hands. With a click sound, Li Wei's neck was pinched by Yejuju. Li Wei's eyes widened, his head fell softly to the side, his tongue stuck out, and there was no breath. He was obviously dead. Freeing up a hand, Yejuju reached out and groped Li Wei's body. I have to say that this is really a young man. The backpack on his body is just for show, and there is no monster material at all. However, Yejuju still found a small thing in his backpack. It was a communicator similar to GS. Looking at the flashing red light and buttons on it, Yejuju was glad that he had killed Li Wei first. Otherwise, if Li Wei were to press the switch, it's hard to say what kind of situation he would face. And Yejuju's guess was right. At the same moment when he killed Li Wei, in a luxurious villa far away in Europe, a middle-aged man with a fierce face looked at a tablet in his hand, his face dark and terrifying. If the camera is zoomed in, you can see that there is a human model on it, flashing a dazzling red light. Above the red light, a line of large characters suddenly read. The user of model X251 has no signs of life. The middle-aged man looked at it carefully for a long time in disbelief, and then said in a deep voice. Find me Will's coordinates. Throw the backpack aside and put it. The 2 billion worth of equipment on his body was peeled off and stored in the space. Looking back at Li Zhan, who was still frozen in the thick ice, Yejuju gave up his plan to break the ice and collect Li Zhan's equipment. Through communication with the Red Queen, she learned that Luo Feng and the senior generals who were chasing him were in the ruins not far from here. I have to say that Luo Feng really deserves to be the protagonist of this world. Although he faced 4 high-level warriors chasing him alone, he had already found an opportunity to kill 2 high-level generals, leaving only the old man surnamed Lu and another unknown high-level general who were still attacking him. Hot pursuit. Judging from the situation, Luo Feng obviously still has some remaining strength. If nothing unexpected happens, those 2 people will still die in Luo Feng's hands. However, Li Zhan and Li Wei have already been killed. In order to avoid long nights and dreams, it is natural to kill the 2 old men surnamed Lu as soon as possible. Thinking of this, before even having time to collect the materials from the armored dragon, Yejuju jumped into the air and chased after Luo Feng and others. When Yejuju caught up with him, he happened to see Luo Feng squatting on the ground, raising up one hand and retracting 6 flying knives with his mind. But the old man surnamed Lu and another senior warrior had already covered their necks with one hand and slowly fell to the ground. Putting away the telekinesis flying knife, Luo Feng saw Yejuju falling from the sky, and immediately stood up happily and said, "Brother Ye, are you done too? That's great." As he said this, Luo Feng was extremely shocked in his heart. The reason why he was able to kill 4 high-level generals was because he had the ability to teleport with flying knives, and he was able to kill a high-level general by surprise. But Yejuju was able to kill the junior god of war so quickly, which was his real strength. Anyway, if it were him, even if he had telekinetic flying knives, he wouldn't be able to kill a junior god of war even if Li Zhan wasn't paying attention. But Yejuju just killed him because of his talent and strength. It's really terrifyingly strong. Yejuju nodded to Luo Feng and expressed sincere appreciation. "Hey, not bad. One person killed 4 high-level warriors. If you tell me, few people will believe it. It's amazing." Hearing this, Luo Feng said with an embarrassed smile, "No way. Brother Ye, you are joking, you are really awesome. It's beyond my reach to be able to leapfrog a level and kill a god of war warrior in one-on-one combat. Okay, let's stop bragging to each other and finish cleaning the battlefield quickly. We need to get out of here quickly. Well, don't underestimate the power of the Bolanaz family. If you stay here for a long time, be careful not to let them know." After speaking, Yejuju stepped forward and started groping on the bodies of the 4 senior warriors. Not bad, these 4 high-level generals all have a lot of monster materials, and the total value can be sold for 500 million and a lot of points. He accepted it unceremoniously, returned to the armored dragon's body, cut off the material, and the 2 hurriedly left here. Sure enough, just dozens of kilometers away from here, the 2 saw 2 fighter planes flying in the sky, heading in the direction where Li Zhan and several others died. The 2 sharp-eyed people could even see clearly the logo of the Bolanaz family on the fighter plane. Looking at the fighter plane going away, Luo Feng subconsciously said thankfully, "It's a shame we left early, otherwise we would have been met by these people." They didn't say it out loud, but both of them understood what was behind it. The 2 looked at each other, nodded in agreement, and hurried toward the base. Across the Heavens, Marvel's Mechanical Hunter. Author, De Chuanqi. Chapter 391. When the 2 returned to the base, Li Yao and Wenina had already led people to survey the scene where Li Zhan and others were killed. The warrior who led the survey looked at Li Yao and said regretfully, "Searched Can on Google." "Sorry, Mr. Li Yao. Not much information was left at the scene. But only judging from the traces left at the scene. Your son and Li Zhan, god of war, both died at the hands of warriors." On the other side, an old man also spoke. The death of the Thunder Team warrior was also man-made, but the wounds were extremely serious, as you can see. He was killed by a flying knife. Then, the warrior leading the team concluded. To sum up, it can be inferred that they were killed by at least 2 warriors, and one of them was at least a god of war level expert, and one was a warrior. Well, a spiritual warrior. When Li Yao heard this, he clenched his teeth tightly and said harshly, "Do you know which god of war warriors and spiritual masters were nearby when the accident happened?" What he said had long been found out by the warrior in front of him, and he said, "I have already sent people to investigate this. When the accident happened, the god of war was indeed here, but there was no evidence of alibi. So." The warrior didn't say what he said clearly, but Li Yao understood it and couldn't help but feel worried. Because if the known god of war takes action, he still has the ability to find the opponent and kill him for revenge. But if it were a hidden god of war, it wouldn't be that easy to find. In the distance, Wenina, who had been looking at her son's body sadly, heard this and walked up and said in a cold voice, "Check it out for me. No matter how much it costs, you must find the murderer of my son. I don't care who they are, as long as they are the murderers of my son, I want them. Die. In addition, give me a reward of 100 billion, and I will ask all warriors to help us find out who is the murderer." Hearing this, all the warriors present took a deep breath. 100 billion is really too attractive to these warriors. Many people are moved. Even if they don't know now, they will work hard to join in the search afterwards, hoping to find the murderer and get the 100 billion reward. Within half an hour, the reward spread throughout all the base cities, and many powerful people came to City 003, hoping to find the murderer and get the reward. After Yejuju and the two returned to the Jiangnan warrior community, they also learned about the reward. Yejuju expressed his indifference and hesitation. Luo Feng came over then, sat down on the sofa, and said to Yejuju, "Brother Ye, it's really thanks to your cleverness that you left there so quickly, otherwise. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Don't take it lightly, I don't think they will kill those warriors who showed up at No 003 that day to vent their anger after they can't find anyone. So, we have to find a way to avoid these troubles." "Ah, brother Ye, how can we hide from this? We were at No 003 that day, which many people know. Hee. Don't worry about it for now. Let's go to the martial arts hall tomorrow to get certified and upgrade our martial arts level. You will understand." After saying that, Yejuju never forgot to add, "Except for your spiritual thoughts. Strength, you have to give full play to your strength, understand? Brother Ye, do you know anything?" Luo Feng, who had caught something sensitively, asked. "Have you ever heard of elite training camps? As long as you perform well, you have a chance to get in there. In this way, you can not only avoid the pursuit of the Bolanaz family, but also quickly improve your strength, understand?" "I understand, brother Ye." The next day, Yejuju and Luo Feng went to the martial arts gym together and tested their strength and speed in front of instructor Zhang and Wu Tong. Not surprisingly, Yejuju's strength reached the standard of an intermediate general, and Luo Feng was also promoted to a junior general. This kind of strength immediately blinded all the martial arts students present, and even made instructor Zhang and Wu Tong look at the two of them with admiration. In fact, Wu Tong had already noticed the two of them through instructor Jiang's report. But they never expected that the two of them could be promoted to the level of warrior generals in such a short period of time. And with such talent and strength at such a young age, he is fully qualified to enter the elite training camp. Without saying anything, Wu Tong brought the two of them into a training room. Naturally, the purpose was to personally test their combat effectiveness. "You're welcome." Yejuju let Luo Feng and Wu Tong fight first, and he stayed at the end without hesitation. There is nothing to say about the competition between Luo Feng and Wu Tong. Even if Luo Feng has good fighting talent, it is impossible to defeat Wu Tong, who has rich fighting experience, without using his mental power. However, Luo Feng showed his perfect body skills in the battle, and in his final full force punch, he hit a weight of more than 29,000 kilograms. While satisfying Director Wu, he became more determined to send Luo Feng to the training camp. It was finally Yejuju's turn to play. Yejuju walked slowly to the middle, bowed to Manager Wu, and then took the lead in launching the attack. He quickly rushed towards Manager Wu and punched him without any courtesy. The fierce fist wind blew the hair on Wu's forehead before it reached his face. Wu did not dare to be careless, leaned back slightly, and stretched out his right hand to block Yejuju's punch. Just by leaning back and blocking, he was immediately caught in Yejuju's continuous attack. Even a strong intermediate warrior like Wu Tong could not find a chance to counter-attack in a short time, and could only passively defend against Yejuju's attack. In addition, Yejuju's fist was not only powerful, but also contained his own ice power, which made Wu Tong feel very difficult to deal with. It was as if he was facing an Ice Lord-level monster, so violent and fierce. This made Wutong think of that terrible person, the iceberg, who also had ice energy. Although Wutong had never fought with the iceberg, the pressure from Yejuju made him inexplicably feel that Yejuju's future was unfathomable. Not to mention, Yejuju's abnormal fighting skills also made Wutong feel like he had met a fighting master. I dotsit herfot small book kioske. Of course, it would be an exaggeration to say that Yejuju's fighting ability has reached the master level. After all, Yejuju's skills are only advanced, far from the level of a master. But compared to the warriors in this world, Yejuju's fighting ability is indeed at the master level. Luo Fen was watching from the side with his eyes shining. He had seen Yejuju fight more than once, but every time he seemed unable to see through Yejuju's depth.